morning, you guys. Happy Monday. Welcome to Triple M Monday Morning Motivation. Super excited to get another week started. It's going to be an amazing week. I don't know where you're at, but here in LA, we even got a little bit of rain last night and this morning, which means, new beginnings because the earth, I know, needed it. So hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Hope you guys are ready for an amazing week. We're closing out October this week, so the fourth quarter is just getting underway. Today we got a video by a man named Richard Branson. So if you're familiar with Virgin Airways, the airplane company and the flight company, he's the guy that started that. Entrepreneur, been married to his wife for over 20 years, and an all-around guy that just inspires in a lot of different ways. So he's going to be talking about a few of the things he's been through, the mindset that's built his success. He's a very, very successful man. And he's going to be sharing it with us. So get your notebooks out. Let's get ready to share. After his talk, we're going to share our takeaways because I'm so excited to hear from everybody's perspective because everybody's perspective counts. And if your friends aren't on yet, if they just hit the snooze button a few extra times, no problem. Hit them up. Tell them, yo, Triple M time. Let's go. All right, you guys. So let's get it. Without further ado, Richard Branson.
From Puerto Rico to the British Virgin Islands, and I was 28 years old, and I'd been away from home for 3 weeks, and I had this gorgeous lady waiting for me, and American Airlines announced that they're not going to fly the flight till the next morning. They didn't have enough passengers. And I was damned if I was going to wait till the next morning. And so I went to the back of the airport and I borrowed a blackboard. And I scribbled Virgin Airlines as a joke, $39 one way to the British Virgin Islands, and went around all the passengers, and I managed to fill up my first flight. And when I got to the BVI, the guy on my left, turned to me and said, sharpen up the service a bit, and you could be in the airline business. And the nenext day. Anyway, the night went well. The next day, she's now my wife 40 years, still 40 years later. So, the next day I rang up Boeing and I said, I'm thinking of going into the airline business. In fact, I just had my test flight. Do you have any second-hand 747s for sale? And the person who took the phone call, I thought he was going to put the phone down on me, but he hung on in there. So he said, well, what does your company do? And I said, well, we're a record company. We've got the Rolling Stones. We've got the Sex Pistols. And again, he didn't sound very, and he said, what's the name of the company? And I said, Virgin. And there was a long pause. And he said, well, look, we'll send a salesman to see you, but with a name like Virgin, I just hope your airline goes the whole way. So,
there's no point in us going into something unless we can really shake up an industry, make a major difference, unless it's going to enhance the Virgin brand. If there's any danger of it damaging the brand in any way, even if it's going to make us a lot of money, cigarette companies or something like that, we wouldn't do it. And because life's short, we want to enjoy the experience. So, we're not, I've never. Very rarely have I actually sat down and thought, can we make a lot of money by going into this industry? Almost all our new ventures have come about from, if you go right back to the beginning, Vietnam War. Let's edit a magazine to try to have young people campaigning to stop the war, and let's give young people a voice. The actual business aspect of it, the paying the bills. We had to sort that one out later and hopefully sell enough magazines and, learn about the printing and the paper manufacturing. But that wasn't our principal interest. And almost every venture we've gone into, we've seen a gap in the market. You might get frustrated flying on other people's airlines. Screw it, let's do it. We'll just start. We'll start an airline, and then we try to make sure we can get the bills paid. And actually, I think it's a better way of doing it. If you think, how can I make lots of money? Let's bring the accountants in. We'll work out some business plans. I mean, it's just the wrong way around. I mean, you get one set of accountants will say, yes, you can make lots of money. Another set of accountants with exactly the same input will say, no, you've got to lose lots of money. It's got to be, from your heart, and do something which, is you're passionate about, which is going to be your hobby, and then it's likely to be successful.
I've been struggling with this business for 2 years. The economy seems to be falling apart. I'm ready to give up. What does Richard Branson tell me to do?
To do everything you can to survive and not to give up. As long as you try everything you can, then if you fail, you'll sleep okay, and you'll pick yourself up, and you'll learn. When things are better, you'll learn from your mistakes, and you'll start again. If on the other hand you give up, too readily, you'll forever kick yourself. And I wish you all the best in your quest, because I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of people who will fail. But I think the other important thing is just not to take failure too seriously. I mean, it's something that happens to something like 80% of all small business people fail. Either go into Chapter 11 or actually go bankrupt, and that's a lot of people, and some people take that really badly, and they should realise that it's an important thing just to learn from it and come back and start again. And an awful lot of really big multi-millionaires and billionaires who've been through 2 or 3 bankrupt companies in their lives. And have learned from them and have come back the stronger. It's what limited companies were designed for by governments. It was to say to people, try things, and if you fail, it shouldn't affect you personally. People know the risk they're having in dealing with you, and don't be embarrassed about your failure as long as you've tried everything you can to avoid it. Don't take it too personally.
Well, I also think fun should come into marketing. There was an occasion where British Airways decided to sponsor a giant wheel opposite the House of Commons in London, England, and this giant wheel was lying flat on the ground, and they got all the press together one morning where they were going to lift the wheel up, and I got a call at about 7 a.m. saying that BA had technical problems and they couldn't get the wheel up, and all the press, the world's press, were there waiting. We had an airship company, so I rang up the airship company and we scrambled an airship, and the airship went right over the wheel, and it had a massive big banner across it which simply said, "BA can't get it up." And anyway, we got more coverage around the world for that than I think any other one single thing we've done. On marketing generally, I think that the cheapest form of marketing is not full-page adverts in the press. It's free advertising. So if you're up against a big corporation, you do need to use yourself to try to get free advertising, and try to do it in fun ways like that. So you stand out from the crowd. Try to make sure you end up doing something that hits the front page of the newspapers rather than the back page. Obviously we've gone to extreme lengths to try to put Virgin on the map. Whether it's trying to be the first across the Atlantic in a hot air balloon, or the Pacific in a hot air balloon, or but it did help, I think, create the Virgin brand, make it a fun brand, and a brand that people could identify with.
There's a very thin dividing line between survival and not surviving. And most people who start in business end up the wrong side of that dividing line, because the bigger businesses out there will try to crush small upstarts. We had, we were no different from anybody else when we set up our airline. Excuse me, but a slight cough. British Airways, set up a unit behind closed doors, and that unit was set up to crush Virgin Atlantic. and they had people illegally accessing our computer information. They then had a team of people ringing up our passengers, pretending to be from Virgin Atlantic, suggesting that that Virgin Atlantic was cancelled that day, and maybe at British Airways we could maybe move you over to British Airways. They had people going through my rubbish bins. They had people. Anyway, the lengths they went were extraordinary. So any small business going up against bigger businesses are likely to come up with ferocious competition. So to beat a big business, you've just got to use the strengths of being small. You generally speaking, if you work for a big corporation, it's quite impersonal, and quite often the staff are not looked after well, and quite often the staff actually don't like going to work because they're not treated well. In a smaller company, you can make sure that your staff are looked after well. You can make sure your staff are proud of what they're doing. You can make sure that that they believe in what they're doing, and they work long hours to try to make the company a success. As a small company, you can be more nimble. You can move more quickly. With Virgin Atlantic, for instance, if we want to change all our seats in our plane to better seats, we can do so in maybe 9 months. For British Airways, it would take them 7 years. So by being more nimble, one can move quicker. One can be more innovative and innovate more. So it is possible for small companies. You can keep your overheads lower, so you can actually undercut the bigger guy. And most likely, the bigger guys had years of building up overheads that you as a small company haven't yet got, and hopefully never will have. So it is possible for smaller companies to beat bigger companies, but you have to be quick of foot and, as you say, never take no for an answer. One of the most important sort of phrases in my life is protecting the downside, and it should be one of the most important phrases in any business person's life. So okay, we made a big bold move from going from music company into airline business, but I set myself a condition that I could hand that plane back at the end of the first 12 months if people didn't like our business. And so one of the most important negotiations with Boeing was, we have the right to give you that plane back after 12 months. And that meant that I knew that, I could put my toe in the water. I could see whether people liked the airline. But if it didn't work out, it wasn't going to bring everything else crashing down. I'd be able to look my record company bosses in the eye and we'd still be friends because they'd still have jobs. So protecting the downside is critical. And so we'll make bold moves, but we'll also make sure we've got ways out if things go wrong.
If you lost it all, you lost everything, what would you do? What would be the first thing you would do to try to rebuild your success?
Well, I think you have to define what success is. I mean, to me, I've spent a lifetime creating things that hopefully I think can make a difference to other people's lives. Genuinely, I've never set about to sort of think of myself as a businessman. If I lost it all, I'm sure I'd want to carry on creating. Most of my time is now spent creating not-for-profit ventures like the Elders or the Carbon War Room or Centre for Disease Control or trying to protect species, and that's where I get my main satisfaction from. And somehow, even if I didn't have any money, I would do my best to continue to do that. Life is short. Life should be fun, and it should be fun. It should be if the chairman of the company is having fun. If you go to a party and if I let my hair down and I'm the first to be thrown in the swimming pool and I'm not just standing in the corner of the room sipping sherry or something, then everybody will have a laugh and everybody will have fun. If you're chairman of the company, be the first to dance on the table. Just get everybody else up dancing on the table and make sure the party's a laugh. So, so play hard and work hard and follow certain principles in life. Love people. Make sure you make a positive difference in this world while you're on it. I love learning. I've never actually thought I was, starting a company as such. I just saw situations as I troubled in life, where I felt I could improve on the way things were being done by other people. So, I would, one of my favorite phrases is "screw it, let's do it," and I've used that phrase a lot of times. And we just love going in and trying to shake up industries and doing it better than it's been done before.
I'm dyslexic, and therefore I think I've been very good at keeping things simple because. As a dyslexic, I need things to be simple for myself, and therefore, Virgin, I think, when we launch a financial service company or a bank, we do not use jargon. Everything's very clear cut, very simple, and I think people have an affinity to the Virgin brand because we don't talk above them or talk down to them.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'd love to know, what did you think of this video?
Nice. Awesome. Epic nuggets from Richard Branson. Super. I took a lot of stuff. I'm going to give you guys a couple of quick nuggets, and we're going to get a few shares from the call-in. If you're at work and you can't share live, no problem. Put it in the chat bar. We'd love to hear from you. So my biggest one, I'm going to give you my biggest 2 to 3. The first one that really hit me was don't chase money. He said we never started an adventure based on if it financially made sense or not. He said we chase ventures based on servicing a need and passion. And what's so interesting is, Roxy and I did a career day last Friday. We spoke to some 10th graders. I was speaking to my little brothers yesterday. And, what I tried to share with them all when they asked is, when you follow your passion, even if you don't think it's financially going to make a lot of money. Because I went through this. I started college as a mechanical engineer. I was like, okay, I would make a lot of, I would make good money like that. I could live comfortably. But I went to an internship and I was like, man, I would dread 5 years down the line. I was like, I'm thinking about 5 years down the line. I get out of school and I go to work. I'm dreading that already. And I was in school. And I said, what would I do? I always heard this cliche. What would I do if I had $1 million or money wasn't an issue? Or, if I didn't need money, what would I do for free? And I always said, I love fitness and health. It's a passion of mine. I would have fun doing it. I said, I'll figure out the finances later. I said for myself, even if I was broke and happy, that was going to be better than abundant but unhappy. Or rich and unhappy. And I say that to you guys because when you love things or when you do it out of a passion, you're going to do it long enough, well enough, hard enough to become successful at it to the point where finances are going to knock down your door. Because when you do that in any endeavor, for me, I thought, man, personal trainers don't make no money. I've done my research. But, man, as long as I have fun, and then guess what finds me? Herbalife, where you can make 6 figures from home. I didn't know that when I made the decision to go into health and wellness. So you never know what decisions are lying on the other side of your decision, or opportunities are lying on the other side of your decision to chase your passions, do it for servicing a need, and then the finances show up after. That's what he said. He said, the finances will figure themselves out later. So that was my biggest one. Other one is do everything you can to survive and not give up. He said, he was like asking a question, what if I was, 3 years and it wasn't working and I was going to go broke? He said, do everything you can to survive and not give up. Sometimes that's all you can do. He said, if you do everything you can and it still doesn't work, at least you can sleep good at night. And I feel like that's such a great way to look at it. Everything is not going to turn out successful in the way we think of success. Your first business, venture, your first, relationship, your first job, whatever it is, it may not work out like success like you think it, happily ever after, or whatever your version of success is. But he said, if you can sleep well at night knowing you did everything you could to be successful in it. And then also he said, is that don't take failure too seriously and come back stronger. 80 to 90% of new businesses fail. So he said you get to look at the way you look at failure. Is failure the end, or is failure a stepping stone to something better, coming back stronger? So I really love that way of looking at it, because I feel like for me, I came up in the culture like, hey, if you start something, you got to make it. If not, if you don't know you can be successful, don't start it. Don't start a company. Don't start a business unless for sure you're going to be successful, because if you're a failure is negative. Instead of a failure being a stepping stone, you got one step closer actually, because now you know what didn't work and you built some skills along the way. So those are my two big takeaways. Let's get a few other takeaways from the call in. Who's excited to share? Give me a smile or a thumbs up. Or unmute. Let's get it. Who's excited? Took some nuggets from Richard Branson. Everybody's ingesting the nuggets right now. Joseph, can you share? You at work?
What's up? Yeah.
All right, we got somebody. Let's get it. What's up, Justin? Go ahead.
What's going on, bro? I thought that just one of his last points, I jumped on a little late, but one of his last points about shaking things up, I thought that was pretty cool. I think that coming with that mindset of not being afraid or intimidated to operating your creativity will really open up new doors, or at least let you know what works and what doesn't. Maybe it may give you a hint to, to your next level, your next great idea. So, because I mean, Richard Branson he's not your average, company leader. Like, you know what I mean? He's almost like a Tony Stark, in business. His provocativeness, his edginess, and that's different. And he really shook up the industry. I think he's creating some company like to go to the moon or to go out of space now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Who does that? You know what I'm saying? But he pushes the envelope and has really created a brand for himself and a legacy. So I definitely took that away.
There you go. Awesome. Definitely thinking outside the box, shaking things up. Always just think about anybody that's been like super successful. Apple Computer, even Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. They didn't come into a company or even an area of business and do what others did. They came in and completely revolutionized it. Elon Musk came in and said, yo, we about to have electric cars. We about to go to the moon. We about to go to Mars. And we about to have solar power. Mark Zuckerberg said, yo, everybody about to be connected. They didn't come in and say, hey, I'm going to just do what others did. They say, I'm going to do something nobody's even thinking about. You're right. Richard Branson, I think, is booking trips to outer space. The business plans this guy be coming up with dope. Let's get one more share. Who else is excited to share? I see Sheriff. Hit us with some nuggets, Sheriff. What's up, bro?
Okay, so what is the course of action that you guys are taking right now?
Well, basically, we covered you with purchase protection because it looks like you
Sheriff has got the nuggets on another call.
Yes, I absolutely send it.
He's multitasking. I love it. All right, Joseph, let's get it. What you got for us?
What up? Well, first of all, I got this for y'all. Look at that view. This is that view from work. This is that view from work. So my favorite takeaway from that whole entire call was when he was talking about advertising and getting your name out there and getting that brand, if you will, taking every opportunity. And so I have gotten to the mindset where I've always got something on me that is branded. Where's it at? I can't find it. Right there. I'm at work and I got my supervisor pin on because I work for this pin. Now they're not big on branding here, but I always have a way of having it branded. So I'm always advertising, if you will. And that's why I have adopted the name at work, Mr. Herbalife. Like that's how they refer to me, as Mr. Herbalife. And so I like that he talked about get your advertising in any way you can because you're basically competing with the world. So it was a nice little, it was a bit of a competitive nugget, if you will, but it still was talking to the point of constantly being branded. Like you, for example, I don't think I've ever seen, well, just anybody that you get 2.5 mil pres. I talk about how you never, ever, ever see them in a picture and they are not branded. That the Herbalife symbol is on them somewhere, be it a button, be it a shirt, be it a hat, a bracelet, something. So that was a good little nugget, because that is a way for your business to speak for itself when you're not even speaking. People are gonna, I know my Uber driver on Saturday said something to me because I was covered in stuff that said Herbalife Nutrition, because he just started talking to me about weight loss, and it just was out of nowhere. We went from talking about football to talking about nutrition and how he was on Jenny Craig and stuff like that. So that was that was a good little nugget. So I have to appreciate that. And I had to give a little side shout out to Justin for his little beard game. That I got to appreciate someone that's bringing the beard.
Beard games in full effect. There you go. I love it. Awesome stuff. Great takeaway. Being branded, representing what you love, and that's a great, great observation. When I started, I said, you know what? I used to see these people branded up. I was like, I wonder if they were branded up first and then started making their Herbalife income at the levels of, $5,000, $10,000 and above a month. I said, I wonder if they were branded first and then it came, or the money came after they got branded. I was like, I'm pretty sure they got branded first, because then the money came because of that, because of what they were representing. So great observation, very aware. Last year, we'll get from Brooks, who put it in the chat bar. Thank you, Brooks. He's at work, but still plugged in and learning. Play to your strengths. When he was talking about going against British Airways, he said they tried to sabotage his business. So he had to play to his strengths, like being able to keep his employees happy, being smaller. He can upgrade his planes faster. So play to your strengths. You got to play to your strengths. Everybody in any endeavor has strengths. You just may have to look a little harder. You may have to change your thinking to see them as strengths, So great stuff today, you guys. Great new week. I'm super excited as we're getting into the end of October, because our mindset is rock solid, ready to get it. As we go into November and December, the time when most people are taking it off, we're about to push the gas all the way through the floor. That means we about to go twice as fast as everybody else. I'm telling y'all. I went over my dad's house yesterday. My little brothers are sleeping on the couch. I'm like, what the heck are y'all doing sleeping, man? They're like, we need a rest day. I'm like, I understand rest, but that doesn't mean you just chill. Like, I was like, yo, bro, you could be looking into stuff that you like right now. On the couch, okay, rest your body. How you feeding your mind? Like, let's get it, y'all. I'm so excited because this group gets that. Thank you, everybody that tuned in live. Thank you, everybody that's going to tune into the recording. Pay it forward. Post this up. Share your nuggets you got. And let's have a great, amazing Monday. I'm going to unmute everybody. Let's get it, y'all. Peace out. Hey.
Get it. Thank you so much, gang.
Let's get it. Peace.